Thank you guys for joining us for another Movie Lingo discussion. I'm Eddie Lingo. I have my partner
Ron.
Ron. I also have Iris, and today we're actually going to be joined by Joe and Axia, who are winners of the Illume Short Film Festival for their project, The Prime Guy. They've also submitted another project, Breaking Social Distancing. I hope I didn't say that wrong, but um, we're very happy to have them. As you know, Movie Lingo sponsored the Illume Short Film Festival, and we've been monitoring the Illume Short Film Festival in its first year online, allowing people with low budget projects to be able to compete amongst themselves. And we're thankful that these guys were willing to participate and share some of their wonderful work with us. And with that being said, we're just going to go ahead and get started and interview. Ron, would you please kick off the first question?
What's up, guys? Thanks for joining us again. My first question, can I find out or know a little bit about where you guys from? Where are you from originally and where are you at now on the map?
Go ahead, Axia.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm from Italy. Yeah. I guess my accent probably would suggest that I'm not from here. Yes. So I'm from Italy. I am originally I all my life I've been a musician. I play rock music. I'm a singer, and I moved to the U.S. almost 5 years ago to pursue my singing career after just doing a few tours here and there in Europe, Asia, and so I decided to take it to the next level. Coming to the U.S., came to the U.S. kind of figure out that rock and roll is pretty much dead or something like that, and that I don't know. I just got surprised on how the genre of music that I loved was kind of really disappeared. I thought it was more like in the movies or something like that. But then I long after that I figured out that I needed to I had some free time. I made a little bit of money, bought a camera randomly 3 years ago, and I started to make films after I met my girlfriend, who was also a filmmaker, and kind of inspired me to get in through that. And now I'm 3 years in, and it's been a lot of fun.
Wow, that's awesome. How about you, Joe?
Yeah. And I and actually has heard this many times, but I kind of grew up all over. My dad worked for the State Department. So my mom's from Thailand, my dad's from Detroit. And I was born in Thailand and lived in Thailand, Barbados, Laos, Hawaii, Florida, Washington, D.C. I went to college in New York, and then I played baseball in college, was playing professionally and chasing that. And then with sports, as you get older, the window gets smaller and smaller. And so when I was 24, I had a few opportunities to keep playing. And I just thought, you know what, it's time to move on. And acting and stunts was something that I've always kind of been interested in, but I was never focused on because I was focused on baseball. And then finally, when the baseball journey came to an end, I just moved out here. So I've been out here for a little over 3 years.
Wow. And you guys connected 2 years ago together to work on this? I mean, because it's the quality of you guys' production, and I find that hard to believe that it's only been 2 years.
Right,
in.
that's what I keep both your stories are 3 years, 5 years, and you guys were able to basically take Hot Pockets and put it in the microwave, and it's coming out. That's really good. Wow.
We met on set a couple years ago, actually. 2 years ago, and we were actually both doing background on this Netflix show, and we were out on a yacht, and we were spending 12 hours on the yacht for 2 days. And I was writing, and we basically we started talking, and I've made a few videos like on my iPhone, so the quality was like terrible compared to what we do now. But he basically was like, hey, we met, we got to know each other, and he's like, I have a camera, I'm willing to collaborate on something. And so we met up that next week, and then we went over a couple scripts for like they were both like 1 minute little short sketches, and then we ended up driving to San Francisco, shooting those, and then coming back to LA.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. That's actually a phenomenal story. That's why I love doing these interviews. You always find out some great stuff. The last person we interviewed, she started a year ago, and I have people that I know that have been doing this for the last 10 years, and it doesn't compare in the quality that you guys' production level. So kudos to you for getting that done, and so, for understanding what you were stepping into and giving us a very good version of it. Because some people, you kind of wish they never started. You kind of wish they never picked up a camera. You know what I mean? You guys kind of already answered the second question already as far as what you wanted to be growing up. What I do want to ask though is that at what point did you realize that you were into movies? Like, do you consider yourself and this is for both of you, do you consider yourself a hardcore like movie lover, or do you just like being creative and you decided to put that creativity towards movies? Whoever wants to take it first.
For me, I mean, my background, as I've already said, I was all about, music and all that. So I never really considered me like a big movie fan, although we all watch movie, we all consume movies all the time. And I used to watch a lot of American movies all the time. That's why when I came here, for me, the culture shock wasn't as big as for some other people. Because, I mean, the music that I was listening ever since I was a kid was from here, and the movie culture kind of, gets you prepared to come here. As of today, I'm still not, I still don't watch too many movies, but I have a lot of fun just making the stuff, It's just, we don't make it we haven't earned $1, but it's just a good way to spend some time that, you could go at a bar with a friend. That's kind of what we do, It's part of just doing stuff together and having fun, and and these things give us, it's just fun, just it's kind of like a sport in a way,
Yeah, I see it that way, especially if you're enjoying what you're doing. How about you, Joe? You consider yourself a movie buff?
I mean, growing up, I had a weird, I liked war movies and I liked sports movies. That was like growing up, but now I have a different appreciation for better stories and how it's shot, and when the story, flows really well. And same with like TV shows. But like growing up, it was like I watched Coach Carter and I was like, I like Coach Carter. And like Black Hawk Down, I like Black Hawk Down. The Rookie. But like now I feel like I have a better appreciation for the whole process, because obviously when you're not in it and you watch it, you have a different perspective than when you're doing it almost every day and you see how much work goes into it. Yeah, but I mean, definitely growing up was so focused on sports, and I definitely watch probably less movies than your average American.
With that being said, I'm going to skip the next question too. I'm not going to put you guys on the spot with that one. Trust me, I'm listening. I hear you. I don't want to beat the same drum and you're like, hey, I just kind of answered that last question. But I do find it amazing though, because I've always run into people who, even if it wasn't their first passion, they're really passionate about it. And I love the fact that you were passionate about something else today, but then you decided to redirect your focus and you're putting out, because some people you can tell in their work if they're, really into it or not. And you guys, even though you may not be considered movie buffs, you still understand the craft, and you put out great work. Wow. I can't stress that enough. I really love the Prime Guy. That was my favorite. Yeah. I mean, that one, I don't know why I didn't see it coming. I don't want to spoil it for people that haven't seen it, but I was so into what was happening that I was getting a little emotional too. Like, man, where is this going? This is
Just thinking about it. I don't want to spoil anything either, but man, I was feeling it. Like when the camera's getting close and the conversation's happening, I'm like, oh man. And then I don't want to say anything. Go watch the short if you haven't watched it.
If you haven't seen it, go watch it for sure. But that ending,
great job on that one. The
emotion was everything for me. Iris, you want to take a question?
Yeah, no. I have to say, compared to a lot of the other movies that we saw, I really liked Prime Guy.
Yeah, it was phenomenal.
I mean, I know I don't want to do any spoilers either, but I have to say,
it's hard not to spoil it.
I know, it's like what I want to say, and I don't want to ruin it. And
we'll move on.
Are we keeping language G-rated?
No, this is for adults.
Okay, good, because I was like, that was some real asshole shit. So I was like, damn, he's an asshole. person that I would definitely want to be friends with. Like,
It made me look at Amazon trucks a completely different way now.
Every time you see one, right?
Every time I
you
see one now, I'm like, it could.
wow.
So I want to
like
ask.
some go hard asshole stuff.
Right. Well,
One of the questions that I really wanted to get into, because now that we know that you guys have, you guys started out with totally different backgrounds, and like the whole thing is just like basically a brand new passion for you guys. With what you guys have done so far and learned so far, do you see yourself, doing bigger projects, trying to do maybe a full-length movie in the future together? If you could elaborate more on that.
What's next for you guys?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll start, and then Joe, maybe you can go right after. I think absolutely. I mean, I feel like we're trying to make short films that are like, they get longer and longer and longer and longer. And I think our next one is probably going to be 6 minutes. And, we haven't shot everything, but we think it's going to be about 6 minutes. And still a long way to go, but definitely, making, I think, like, if you approach movies and scenes like a bunch of like, little scenes that, that go one after another, there's definitely a possibility to do it. Of course, if we want to do something that's longer, we're going to need a budget, I would say, not much for really shooting it, because we can always come up with stuff that it's budget zero and ideas that don't require anything pretty much, and we pull favors here and there, but it's just the time that I believe it takes to shoot a film. And we're two people now. There's my girlfriend helping me in the Prime Guy. She was there helping me, but it's two people, so we go very slow. And I think because it's a two people production, it would take a long time to shoot it, and because I'm the one who edits everything, a long time to edit. So the budget would mostly be needed, well, beside maybe to make something that looks even better on screen, just to even, give me the time to don't run out of money while I'm editing this.
Right.
So just that would be the thing. But I definitely, for sure, I mean, that's the aim, it's like, we just want to go, I think we're going to keep doing it until something, I don't know. But like, I think, we're going to keep doing it, and possibly, make it bigger and better. That's the goal.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, we definitely talk about it a lot, about it continuing to expand, make each short a little bit longer. Like our first ones were 1 minute, because then at first we were posting on our Instagram, and 1 minute was the cap. So it's like, okay, we're trying to get to the meat of it as quick as we can, and then we always kind of did dramedies. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to look at the YouTube page. There's 10 shorts on Axia's YouTube page, which is Framed by Axia. But all of them tend to be kind of like drama comedies. So we kind of go down a path, and then we hit it with the twist, or we hit it with a double twist.
Yeah, I got you.
So yeah, no, definitely making it longer. But the interesting thing now is with film, it's so different than theater, where it's the whole performance in at once. With film, it's just piecing together a bunch of scenes, and then that makes the story. And Axia has such a great idea of how to connect the scenes and how to transition with J cuts and whatever. And obviously, like for the Prime Guy, for example, he was talking about it taking a long time to shoot. I mean, the detail and like all the lighting, and making sure the set decorating, and making sure the lighting in the back, and keeping each part of the frame interesting. He does a great job. And that thing is, I feel like film is a lot, you can compare it a lot to sports, that when you watch TV and you see such high quality productions on TV, you almost forget about how much work goes into it, because you're so used to seeing that, and you don't realize it until you see a crappy production, when something's shot with just a white wall in the background, and you're like, man, that looks boring. That lighting is off. Exactly. It's like watching pro sports. You get spoiled. You see these guys and they're so good. and you don't realize how good they are until you go and watch a game and you're like, man, they are crusty out there. Like, you know?
Exactly. I totally agree. I mean, you guys, I'm just still amazed at how you guys have stepped into it and the level.
I'm glad you said it again, because you mentioned the detail. I noticed it. Like, no spoiler, but like there's a scene where you guys are at the beginning and you guys are kind of playing games, and somebody literally messed up the table and the couch. And I honestly believe that it was like, when I'm playing PlayStation 4, like that's what it is. Like, I've got a beer can here, I've got this here, and I'm looking at what you guys are drinking. Everything was the detail made it authentic. And sometimes when you see a short, you don't see that. And especially even with the scene changes, like to remember that somebody was holding something, or like when you went to the door in certain scenes, the detail wasn't lost with the objects in the foreground and the background. So I noticed it, and it didn't look small budget. It didn't look 3 years. It didn't look, hey, we just got together on a yacht. So,
but it's funny. It's like go to Goodwill, or like I talk with Axia all the time. What do we need? Like, all right, like that lamp. Go to Goodwill, spend $10 on a lamp. Go get the right bulb so that could be placed in the back on whatever. And then so now we have a couple light bulbs, light fixtures, like just little things that are a pain in the ass to keep around your house because the stuff piles up, you know. But it's like, and he does. I mean, again, Axia is great with understanding like the details and trying to make the whole thing complete. And I appreciate that.
It shows. It shows. I didn't know about the YouTube page. I'm excited to go back and see those shorts. If I did, I probably would have been waiting for what I got with the Prime guy. Yeah. But it's still.
I'm glad I didn't know.
Yeah. I'm glad I didn't know, because I was really like looking around, like I even like
waiting for the shoe to drop.
You gotta watch this. You gotta watch this. You know, and I was sending it. I was like, you gotta watch this. It caught me way off guard. But I think even still, if I knew, I still wouldn't have expected that. I would have expected something weird, something funny. But that was so good. I don't want to spoil it. But I have to ask though, with both of those stories, let's start with Breaking Social Distancing. What was the inspiration? You wrote that one, correct?
Yes.
What was the inspiration in writing it? How did you come up with that idea? And then, if you can, answer the same thing for the Prime guy.
So a lot of these, I mean, me and Axia, we meet up as often as we can. And for example, I mean, if we're shooting something, then we focus on that. But when everything's edited and we're looking for the next project, I mean, we sit down and we brainstorm ideas. And I mean, I have probably 20, 30 things that I've written out that it's either, I like the concept and it's not, or actually likes the concept as well, but it's just not there in terms of the pacing, the dialogue, the twist. It could be something better. So hang on to it. And then, all right, what's the next thing? And then, I mean, sometimes we go over 5, 6, 7 ideas and we kind of flush out, all right, for example, Breaking Social Distancing, we shot that the week before lockdown. So quarantine was starting to hit in other countries, and we were trying to do something coronavirus based. And we were thinking of ideas. And I mean, I don't really remember how that came to.
Did you walk away out of somebody's fridge?
I'm pretty sure it was the chaos of people stealing toilet paper in the stores.
Yes, it was that. I remember we were talking about what could have been done. I remember the toilet paper was the thing, but okay, we got to keep the joke about the toilet paper because it was the hot topic. But how do we make it how do we make it cool? How do we make it new? Although it's new, but it's already getting old because lots of people are like, you know, funny videos of people paying in toilet paper. Okay, because it's the new currency,
right.
Which is fun. But like at the end of the day, you know, there was also the problem of shortage of food, and so when he runs out at the end, we figured out that big rolls of toilet paper, but also food was cool because, you know, everything was war. I think that's I don't remember how it came out exactly. Joe probably you should know a little bit better, being you flashed out the bigger part. We kind of went over the details a little bit, but
for example, I know, and I do remember this is obviously finding a location that works. So we shot that in my apartment. Okay. So we had to move stuff around, And I remember having the idea of separating the guy and the girl. The exes get together, and then figuring out how do we get them in a different room. And I was thinking at first, it was like, okay, me goes to the bathroom and leaves out the window. But my apartment, there is no window in the bathroom. So it's like, okay, how do we separate the people? And honestly, I don't really remember how it came to the fridge. But it's like you write, and obviously when you ball on a budget, everything has to be adjusted to do what you can realistically do.
Based on what you can actually put together, right? And
exactly. And then Axia had the idea of clearing out the fridge. He had the idea of the shot with her opening the fridge, answering the phone, leaving the fridge open.
Yeah, so you see in the back, there's always this fridge, and you see that it's like, yeah, I said, Joe, you gotta buy a lot of groceries. That fridge needs to be. and then you don't think about it, but like at the also all the shelves are completely empty. So we when we emptied the fridge to do the last shots. Also, all the shelves, we cleaned up everything. We had so much food piled up in the middle of the room, but it had to be out. It was fun.
What a pain in the ass.
Well, I think also it's some ideas like the Prime guy. I think the fact that we sometimes we merge ideas that we can't do. For example, we had like this other short idea about a dad about a very awkward situation with father and son who didn't see each other for so many years. And that kind of went into the Prime guy, I remember. Because I remember that the idea was not that it was his dad. And then I was like, wait, Joe, what if we take that idea from that other short film that we never did and we make this character dad with the Amazon twist on it? And yeah, I think that's what it was. And we decided, sometimes it's like, I think the idea for the Prime guy was like, let's do something delivery based. I don't know why, but like we take some very weird things. So let's do something delivery based. And then he came up with a core concept, and I offered the idea that maybe it was the father, maybe it was the idea from another short that we should, take and incorporate in this other one. So sometimes short films that are dead and they can't be done, we can still go and steal some cool parts and implement them in the ones that are actually possible to get in production, let's say.
I think it's always good to table an idea. If something isn't quite there, it's always good to just hold on to it, because you never know when it might just fit perfect with something else. So I agree with that process 100%.
It's funny. Sometimes I write things out and I'm like, man, this is good. Okay. And then we go and we'll read over it. And then I'm like, damn, that sucks. But when you're writing it and you're reading it in your head, you're like, okay.
Yeah.
And then we go to Axia's house, print it out. We're going over it. And I'm like, damn, the pacing sucks. That joke doesn't work.
I think that's how we do it. It's like he really brings the script. I play a character, he plays another character, and then if it works and it feels like it's funny, then we do it. So if it like really playing it, like just reading the lines and kind of mimic how they the thing, it works. They're like, okay, this is gonna be funny, and then it's usually works.
That's actually why I don't write comedy, because I worry that what's funny to me may not be conveyed well. I mean, like if we're talking and we're joking, I can hit you with some witty humor, but writing it out and making sure it's received the same way I'm hearing it, I've never been successful, so I just avoid comedies altogether. So I applaud you guys for the way you're able to get the comedy out, and it's received like you see. We all enjoyed it. It's awesome.
It's always a big question to me. Like every time I finish a short film and we upload it, I'm like, I just hope it's gonna be funny the way I think it is. I just hope people are falling for it the way we think about it. But you'll never know until other people watch it, I guess. That's
true.
And it's
we do our screen test with some friends sometimes, and try to get what they think about it.
Friends don't always tell you friends not always honest with you.
It's always like this though. It goes, you write it, you're like, man, okay. Once it gets to the point where it's like we're gonna when we both agree, okay, this is ready to shoot. All right, feeling good. And then as you go to shoot and you're dealing with a bazillion headaches and random things that pop up, then it's like, oh no. And then you watch the footage, you're like, okay, like we could piece this together. This could work. and then you get the first cut and you're like, damn, okay, like this has got a lot, there's a lot of work to do. And before you know it, it's like up, down. And then by the time you've watched it for the 7,000th time, it's not as funny, you know?
Right. But you still hope somebody else finds it funny.
And then, yeah, and then you don't watch it for a few days. You add some music, and then it's like, all right, this could work.
Here we go. We're back on. Yeah.
Man, the whole, everything you described is.
I'm thinking about that scene where she comes out of the bathroom, and the refrigerator being open doesn't catch me immediately, because I'm thinking that you're doing something, like you're standing there, or like with no clothes on. Like, what did you do to mess up this opportunity? Like, it's a home run. She set it up, Netflix and chill. And then I'm like, wait, no. And then the way the scene was edited, where it's like, as soon as I'm thinking of no, he didn't. And then I'm like, oh, God. Yeah, everything's like up, you know, like you don't want to make another trip to the car. It's like, this is it. Everything you have.
Yeah, I'll subject really quick. How many takes did that take for you to be able to run with everything successfully and deliver your line? Was that multiple takes, or is that just?
It was multiple takes for sure. Also because we were trying to get the stuff to fall gradually a little bit while he was running.
Okay.
So to get like more comedic, we had like a couple mandarin, like couple clementines had to fall right in the middle of when he was saying the line, you know, so it was like so that it looked sloppy and funny enough.
Right.
Yeah, we did a few takes, but I mean, not too many. I think 5 or 6. Cool. It was good.
That's why we shot it with Lauren, who's she's a comedian. She's very funny, very very talented. We finished editing pretty quickly and put it out there, and then on Facebook that got almost 7 million views.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, it
was perfect. The execution was perfect.
The timing was.
Yeah, the timing was perfect, because a lot of people were capitalizing on COVID movies, and some of them were a little seemed like, you know, not like nice try, but you know, that's the joke is worn out already. I think you guys knocked it out of the park though. Like that, I believe I can show people that now, and despite all of the videos they've seen, they probably still be in their favorites. It's one of mine.
Yeah, it also helped that 5 billion people were sitting at home not working on their phones.
I feel like this video has no time on. Like, I can see people watching it for any hurricane, like if you're in South Florida, or if there's a disaster somewhere and you're kind of at home and you've got to get supplies. I see someone still always putting that in a chat and a link. Side question, like I would like to see, I mean, I don't know if you guys are, you know, behind the scenes working on something, but I think it'd be a cool, you know, mini series that can constantly be able to be in that same realm, but with different stories.
Yeah.
Something to push for. Ron, you got the next question?
Yeah, I'm just curious, how many days did it take you guys to shoot those?
That one was 2 days, but both 2 days each. So yeah, 2 days each. 2 evenings.
2 nice long days, huh?
We actually shot for breaking social distancing. We shot the scene with me and Lauren on the couch. We shot that in one night, and then the next night we did me on the phone and then me running outside. And then for the Prime Dad, the first thing we shot was
Prime Guy.
The Prime Guy.
Didn't even notice it. Okay.
Yeah. Prime Guy. First one we shot was a scene with the dad, and then next was the interior scene. The one with the dad, we went to like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Wow.
Whose idea was it for the end credit scene?
The ending.
The after the credits, the post credit.
Yeah, the after credit. There was like almost like a Marvel after credit after some of the credits rolled.
I mean,
you went back to the front door.
Axia had that. Axia had that.
There was something that came out literally that same night. I was like, what if he goes back? What if it's what if it's so bad that he has even that face to come back and ask for the bathroom, because because another thing that I always ask myself is like, if I would never want to be a delivery person or an Uber driver, because if you have to go to the bathroom. How do you do it? And so
Right.
that's also something that I always was like, damn, that must be, you know, it must be hard. And then I thought, well, okay, what if this guy is like going back, knocking at the door in a month after, because he knows. He didn't know that.
He knows what house to avoid.
He does. So he's gonna try to use it as
This is a little bit less awkward than going to a stranger. So
Yes.
can you help me out?
So, you know, you're gonna try your chances, but this time he has revenge, because we also thought that it was very, very sad. Like if he didn't have any sort of like win against his dad, it looked very sad. I mean, it just looked like a sad story, sad story.
Right.
Let's say that. But with that part, well, then it kind of evens out a little bit. He's got his revenge. His dad shits in his pants, and you know.
And I love how the dad says "son" when he comes back.
After the way he just talked to him, like, whatever, man. And now it's like, son, please. Oh, we're just totally spoiling this. You guys just gotta go watch it. I'm gonna make sure I post the YouTube page so they can just go watch it. It's worth. Iris, you want to take the next question?
Oh.
Okay, so
I think we're at number 8.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Whatever question you want to ask.
Oh, okay. Well, I wanted to do the big like moneymaker question, number 13.
Okay, go ahead. That's your style. Go ahead, Iris.
Yes. So, if you guys had the budget to collaborate with anybody in the world to be a part of whatever project, who would it be?
Actually, what do you think?
I have no idea. I never even think about having a budget. That's such a remote possibility.
Like, how can I do shit for free? Let's see. How do I hustle this out?
You're a real.
So there's nobody that if they were to come up to you, like just randomly, like if you know you had a chance to do a movie with like Steven Spielberg, like.
Yeah, you guys have any people you admire in the business that you just love to work alongside with?
Yeah.
I think The Rock.
Yeah.
The Rock. He's just so damn good at everything.
He gets it.
You know?
He's definitely on my list.
He knows his market and he just hammers it and dominates it.
Yeah.
Probably the most likable guy in the world. Also.
I would have to say agree with that. Yeah.
Not according to Vin Diesel, but okay.
Ooh, you got a point there.
But yeah, a budget seems like a far dreamland.
I hear you on that one.
Yeah,
If I could collaborate with somebody, I would say, I don't know, I just would love to be able to work with, I don't know, the 2 writers / directors of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. They're just
Those are great writers.
mind-blowing people, and I think the way they're writing, the concept, everything they do is just I think it's Vince Gilligan and Peter Gould. Those guys are insane, and so whatever. Like I would just that would be just one of the top thing I would say for me.
Okay.
All right. Well, let me ask you guys this. What are some of the challenges you guys faced when in production? While you were filming those 2 shorts? What are one of the bigger problems you had on each set?
Okay, I'm gonna go first. I think, well, the problem is always the lighting. You always want the lighting to be good.
Right.
It takes time. And
It does.
in this first, and I'm getting very, 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 I'm getting very, very picky about it. Like, because I want to make sure that each short film looks better and better. But at the same time, I always have the same tools. I have the same lights, the same camera, the same lenses. And, I always try to find a way to change stuff around, but also should look better. So I think production, especially the lighting part, it's what's added to our film like the most time to be created. Because before, when we started, I didn't even bring lights, barely brought any lights. I would always, just take the camera and shoot. But then I realized pretty quickly how important lighting was.
Yeah.
And then I started gradually to improve it more and more. And, you know, I know what I could do to take it to the next level, but it's always about, I can't do too much rigging because we're just one person, you know, even just relight is going to take forever to do. And so we really, I don't know, it's trying to keep, you know, the cinematography fresh with always the same 4 or 5 things, like the same lights, the same modifiers. And don't get me wrong, I'm glad that I have what I have. I mean, I worked hard to save, to buy that stuff, but you know, you always want to try to spice it up in that sense. So that's definitely the most challenging part, is just to try to get the film done while looking as good as possible for the hands that we have, which are very little, like not many people helping, and the gear that we have, you know, just try to, for this last short film that we shot, it's not edited yet, but it's looking pretty good. We did, and Joe of course came and helped me out, and we did like a lighting rehearsal for the very first time. We rehearsed all the lighting, because if I wanted to make sure that, you know, the picture looked good, but a little bit different style from what we've done so far, I couldn't have wasted the actor's time, because we're working with a kid, this new short film. So that's gonna be that, you know, you can't take a kid, you know, you can't get a kid and, you know, don't let him go to sleep until 4 a.m. because you got to figure out the lighting. So yeah.
I agree with that.
I would say I would agree. I mean, in terms of, well, I'll go to the writing part after, but in terms of shooting on set, it definitely takes time. And say, for example, we want to shoot something in LA during the summertime, which we shot, like coronavirus one, we shot the first week of COVID, which was in March, and then Prime Dad we shot the next month, and then we've shot like we're shooting something now, but basically it gets dark at 8:30. So when we want to shoot, like we shot we're shooting this last one with a 11-year-old girl, and it's like, okay, you don't want them to get out late, you know, and even when we're working with Lauren on the breaking social distancing, it's like you respect people's time. So when we're shooting something and hopefully we can get the first shot at 8:30 or 9 because it's a night shoot, we're there at 5 or 6, setting up all the C-stands, setting up all the lighting, trying to set up everything for the first shot. And then I'm also getting ready to act in it. And he's setting up the camera and rigging the camera up and doing all that. And then, you know, shoot the first scene and then have to adjust all the lighting again. And it's doing that. And I think it's working where Axia is for example, looking at all the lighting, looking at the camera, making sure everything's set in the background. It's like you're focused on so many different things. And I'm also trying to help adjust things. I'm also trying to, you know, stay on top of the acting standpoint. So I think a challenge is when you have a small team and you're handling every aspect of it. It's not like when you go on set and one person's job is to just look at the hair and the other person's job is to make sure the shirt doesn't look wrinkled, you know? Exactly. Yeah, so for that, but it's fun. And luckily we're both hustlers and we both understand when we're there, we're ready to work, and we're not like, okay, looking at the clock, seeing when we could go home. We're there. And I mean, there's plenty of nights we shoot these night shoots that the actor's done at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. and we're there and we have to clean everything up and we have to charge everything up for the shoot the next day. And we don't go to bed till 4 or 5 a.m. And then we're getting up at 8 or 9 to shoot the next scene the next day, you know?
Yeah, Joel loves to schedule things very close together so that we don't get enough hours of sleep, which is something that I questioned last time. I was like, oh, I was like, congrats. I was like, why are we shooting? Like, why were we sleeping 4 hours? I was like, okay, cool. No, I'm kidding. No, Joey's a trooper in the sense that besides acting, like he moves all the lights with me. We go all this. And then once we're done setting all up, he needs to jump into the role, which is very hard. He's getting better and better at like doing that, but incredibly, like, you know, it's incredible because many actors, they don't, like, he has to, when we did the prime guy, he was like setting the lights and then boom, go there and act super sad and cry and do all that. I'm like, lots of respect for that, because you know, I bet it's not easy, you know, to go from setting the lights and moving stuff to, okay, put on the clothes and do that, you know.
So that's a question I've been saving. But what do you Joe? This is sweet. What do you tap into when you reach that
That's
level?
what I was gonna ask. I was gonna ask the same thing.
Like
What was he
Not
thinking?
only are you worried about lighting and continuity, but you're also, you know, where the punchline is coming. How do you stay in that emotional moment?
I feel like, okay, I feel like it's almost like the light switch effect, where it's okay, you almost feel like you're sitting, this is gonna sound really weird, but like you're sitting in your brain and you're just controlling all your actions. It's like, it sounds really weird. It's like, I know when you're playing, when you've
got a bunch of Joes in his head, he's like, and they're pressing buttons in there.
Yeah. It's like you got little people there and they all.
Yes. But I will say, it's like with each and every one that we've done, I feel like I've gotten better at being able to separate the two and taking a second and then getting into character. Because there was ones early on where we would watch it in the editing process and I'm like, man, I wish I gave a little bit more here. And I wish I gave a little bit more there. And watching Axia edit and seeing that process, I also understand now more than I did before that it's about moments. And when it doesn't need to be the best 2 minutes straight. It needs to be a handful of good moments that he can use when he cuts it together. Because if we do need to cut away and come back, that's okay. If I go over my line and I don't do it right, it's okay. I could reset. I could do it again, because it's about piecing it together. And then it's like just putting out all the raw materials there, and then the chef is picking and choosing what he wants to put into the soup. You know?
Nice.
Yeah.
I love that analogy. Who's taking the next question?
That's like Ratatouille.
Iris, you want to throw the next question?
No.
How about you, Ron?
That's the spirit.
Okay.
Ron,
if you could, on which one would you do something differently? If you're looking at it, you're looking at the success that you're having on both of these shorts, and you're saying, man, if I could with the light, if I could with the script, if I could with a cameo, what would you do differently on one of these?
Go ahead, Axia.
I just finished doing a lot of talking.
I always ask myself if I really get the best cut possible out of the footage I got. That's like a question that I think, you know, I always ask myself, how would this look if like a professional Hollywood editor would have edited this, just in terms of pacing, you know, just given all the footage? How better would it be? And that's a question that I never know. I never know, you know, I never know the answer, because I never really got, you know, the chance to confront myself or get like a feedback or get a professional editor to edit the stuff that we shoot. So that's mostly the main concern. As far as lighting and stuff like that, couple things that I wish I could have done maybe differently. In the beginning part of the Prime Dad, where they are playing with the controllers, there's this strong blue light in the back, which is cool, but I don't know, it's kind of a little bit random. Like, it's a very futuristic look in a way, like this like blue light everywhere.
I thought it fit. You know, people like to put kind of random colors in their home sometimes like that.
Yeah, but you know, to me, that's like a trick that I usually do if I'm shooting a music video.
Okay.
So it's something that in a short film, I don't know. But at the end of the day, I know why I did that choice, because the picture looked a little bit boring when I was looking at it. Because, I mean, we're trying to do the best we can with set design, but there's a bunch of white walls. There's not a lot of furniture. It's now not that we can like load furniture into our cars to make the picture look better. So we try to move what's already there to try to make it nice. But if I feel like it's not it's not there yet, well, then I pulled like a music video trick, some sort of thing to make the framing look good, just so for the short amount that scene lasts, it's pleasing to the eye, although it's not completely motivated by much in the scene. That's another thing, but I don't know, I really feel like, and that's something that I'm very happy about, that every short film, there's for sure stuff that could have been done better, but it's so far I think it is beyond our understanding, because we really, I think, max out for every short film ourselves. So we never leave anything untried, we never leave anything unexperimented. I think in a few years I'll be able to tell more what I could have been done better, but I think the short films really represent what we can really do when we give 100%, because if you want to get something like that done in 2 people, it needs to be 100%. So there's not much regret. Maybe the editing part, it's the most mysterious part, because, it could change. You could do the edit in a million ways. So that's always interesting.
So I got the last question for you guys, because you guys are talking about doing stuff with just the 2 of you and very low budget, as cheap as possible. You're not even thinking budget, which is exactly what Illume Short Film Festival is all about. It's all about getting people that have little to no budget, but putting out the best quality possible. And you guys successfully did that. But this question I have to ask. I do want to point out, with you guys putting out this great quality, even at low budget. Joe, you got honorable mention for acting in a short film. That award is coming out to you. And then the short film itself got honorable mention for best short. Like, you were right there. It's close almost to get the grand prize. But unfortunately, I'm not unfortunate, because that other short that won was great, but I wish I could have given you guys more, but I'm telling you, the votes were so close. But I have to ask, because the Illume Short Film Festival is really all about the low budget. What were the budgets for both shorts, The Prime Guy and Breaking Social Distance?
It's a clear 0, I think.
Really?
Yes.
Besides buying the groceries for Breaking Social Distance?
The groceries.
You guys met up at a location that you
Joe knows better. Joe knows better.
So breaking social distancing, if you look at it, like, we have, between us, we have some C-stands, we have some lighting equipment.
Right.
So like, but all that stuff, like, we have audio equipment, like the lav mics, the boom mic.
Okay, so you're ahead of the game with some of the people.
So yeah, so we have that. We have some quasar lights, his aperture, 2 apertures. So we do have some lighting equipment, but for like breaking social distancing, we shot it, like, this was the couch that we shot it on. We moved a bunch of stuff around. The lamp, I think we had from a previous short film, which was like $10 at Goodwill, like the food in the fridge was there. The bottle of, for example, like the only thing I didn't expect was there's a cut, there's a J cut with the sound. Basically, when I'm on the phone and she's like, yeah, okay, I'll see you later. I'm like, okay, I'll see you. And then you hear a bottle opening, right?
Okay.
Actually, it's like, we need a noise to make a cut. So then we had like wine here. So we use it. So like, technically out of pocket, it didn't.
Yeah.
We used what we had.
We didn't spend money. It's just the equipment. I do photos and videos for a living now. And I use the lights that I have, the camera that I have, but specifically for each short film, I don't think we bought anything. Like that night that we did The Prime Guy, I think we had Chipotle, and then we'd throw that Chipotle stuff on the table where we were playing games, where they were playing the PlayStation. But it's really like, yeah, we didn't spend any money on anything.
That's crazy. $0.
That's exactly what this festival is all about.
It does not look like $0 at all.
But it's like in The Prime Guy, there was some Stella bottles there.
Yes, and I saw that. I was like, Stella!
Yeah. We shot at Axia's house, and it's like, okay, well, we need to buy some beer because we need to ask the roommates to keep it down for a little bit, so we need to bribe them with some beer. And then when you're done drinking, don't throw it out because we need it for a prop.
We need to, yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome.
Wow.
Well, I'm glad that we got a chance to talk to you guys. It was a very, very interesting learning experience. Super excited to see what comes next. Just to let you guys know that we are on October 3rd starting to take submissions for next year's festival. It's going to be online again because we can't predict what COVID's going to do.
Yeah.
But I would love to see you guys put more of your work in there. And of course, I'll be in touch with you guys to try and arrange that like we did before,
And thanks for having us in it.
Of course,
And,
thank you guys so much.
I'm so glad. I saw when I saw the work and I was nagging you and like, hey, submit, come on.
Yeah.
I'm glad we finally were able to make it work because you guys, especially now knowing it's just you two with no budget after only like 2 or 3 years working together, I'm just like blown away. And I hope this inspires a lot of other up and coming indie film people to watch because that's exactly what Illume Short Film Festival is all about. You guys did a phenomenal job.
And congrats on the first one. That's an awesome accomplishment.
Yes, thank you. It was just a bigger success than I expected. I'm so excited to do the next season, and I hope you guys take part in the next season too.
25 years from now, we'll come back for a reunion.
I think this year we might be able to.
We'll be working with a budget then and not saying we don't think budget's like, no.
Yeah, they're like, for this one we had like, a good $1 billion. So
Yes. We want you guys to reach the next level with your work.
We needed to do. We were able to make it work.
Picked up by Netflix. I mean, the possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
I can tell that if you guys keep going the way you're going, somebody's going to make you an offer, and you guys are going to be working on the next level easily within the next couple of years.
I appreciate that.
That'd be great.
I'm going to send you to the links to the other ones, and I would love to hear what you guys think.
All right.
Awesome.
We'll
Yes,
definitely tell you. All right.
Yeah.
So, Ron, do you have any other questions?
No, I don't have any questions. Just again, you guys seem passionate, creative. You took your ability from sports and that player mentality of I'm on the bench, now it's go time. And so you're able to make those switches. And then from you with your music background, your creativity, and you're always being creative. And like you said, the recipe is there or the cook ingredients are there and you're making your remixes to it. So I like how you took passions that you've been honing for all your life and you've switched it to a different avenue. So much success for you guys. Congratulations again. Keep making us laugh and cry. I can't complain.
We do want to do we do comedy most of the time because we always plan on posting our short film on the internet, and we feel like people are more inclined on a bigger number online, at least to watch comedy. But
that is actually a fact.
And to be honest with you, that was actually going to be my question.
But for sure, we are planning on doing something that's a little bit, more dramatic. Definitely, that's why our short films, comedy, they have a stronger drama part as every time, because we're trying to silently do a switch, and we want to see how those. We're introducing these dramatic scenes because we want to experiment a little bit with those kind of vibes. And eventually, when we feel like we are ready, we might going to try to do something that it's more, dramatic or more like thriller, dramatic based. That's something that we're trying to do. We introduce the next one is going to have a little bit of a thriller horror component in it, just in the beginning, just so we can.
That's Iris' bird right there.
Yes, I'm all horror. I love the horror.
When people submit horror to the festival, I'm just going to send it to her. I don't watch this.
It's because if you make a 3-minute drama and you post it on social media, after a few, people are gonna be like, well, what's wrong with these people? Like, why? It's so depressing.
Where's it going?
At least if you put a little twist at the end, they could leave with a chuckle, and they're like,
exactly.
That's very true. That's very true.
Price of admission. Yeah.
All right, Iris, you got another question, Iris?
Well, actually, my question was gonna be why comedy, but he got into it before I could say anything. So the only question I had, but I am ready to see what you guys have in store for us.
Yes, looking forward to the rest, and we'll be watching what you got already. The awards are already on the way, so when you receive them, please post on social media, tag us, let everybody know who hooked you up. Illume Short Film Festival.
Will do, absolutely.
All right. So, Axia, did you have anything you want to add or say before we close off?
No, I would say whoever, follow we make about 5 to 6 short films every year. I mean, this year is probably going to end up with 5 or 6. So, the YouTube channel is a good place to go if somebody wants to keep track of.
Make sure I put that right there.
Yes, we do. That's a good starting point. There's also some other videos that I do on myself, but there's a playlist with all of that, and just a good way to keep track. And because we put out all these little short films, I'm most likely hope we're gonna participate in another edition of your film festival.
Awesome.
I'm excited. How about you, Joe? Anything you want to add?
Yeah, if you guys just want to see more of our work, Instagram's Joe Daru. Axia's Instagram is Framed by Axia.
And I'll make sure I post that as well.
Yeah, and then the YouTube channel that we have all these things are Framed by Axia.
All right.
So
sounds good. Well, I want to thank you guys for joining us, and congratulations as you guys won honorable mention for your acting, Joe, and an honorable mention for Best Short. Illume Short Film Festival was a success, and I think you guys were a great part of that success. A lot of people were hitting me up, not really anticipating such quality from some of the submissions we had. And, hey, you guys got some really good stuff, and I thank you guys for that, for trusting and submitting and helping elevate and give us credibility. Illume Short Film Festival was a success. Your work was a success. And now Movie Lingo is able to interview you with my partner, Ron, and Iris. We greatly appreciate you guys. And we really, really are looking forward to seeing what you do next. If we can get like exclusive, before it drops or something, that'd be great. And we will have you guys back on here to interview again in the future, because I can tell from you guys being fresh in it and your passion and work ethic, what you're putting out already, we're definitely going to have more to talk about in the near future.
for sure. Thanks again.
Right. And I thank you guys for joining us. And again, thanks for joining us for another Movie Lingo discussion. I'm Eddie Lingo. I got Ron, Iris, Joe, and Axia, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
All right. See you guys.
See you guys.